Hello everybody and welcome to another video tutorial. Now for this week's tutorial you guys voted and you guys chose the Golem. Now for this design, although the mythology for this type of creature is that it's traditionally made of clay or rock, I wanted to give it more of a sculpted feel / organic feel to it. So maybe the person that was actually working on this creature didn't necessarily have access to very fine refined materials, so they had to make do with what they had. And that's essentially the perspective I was trying to keep in mind as I was working on this painting. Now, I was experimenting a bit with the perspective, seeing if I could add a slope horizon line and all that. I ended up making it more normal to what I normally paint instead, just because it worked better for the overall painting. And I was actually testing out quite a few different brushes to see which one I preferred. So I was just playing around with a bunch of brushes I still haven't used yet, and I have because I've downloaded them a while back. And I was just essentially lowering the size of it to get different effects. And I went back and forth within about 4 or 5 different brushes. So I had my default round brush, I had a textured brush that I've been using in the past, and then I had about 2 or 3 other brushes that I was just testing out to see if they would work or give me something that looks more like rock. As you can also see too, is I kept my color palette very limited. The reason why I did that is I actually knew ahead of time roughly what colors I would be using, and colors are really easy to change generally in Photoshop because you can always add a color layer afterwards to change what the effect is. So my main focus was on getting the character design appropriately done and more fleshed out, and getting the structure for that character fairly well thought out. So as you can see, I'm just experimenting a lot with the shapes, trying to figure out which shapes I'll keep, which ones I won't. Later on in this video, you'll actually see me experimenting a lot with the Lasso tool. I've seen a lot of artists use this technique, so I wanted to try it out more formally in an actual painting, and that's why I actually ended up using it actually extensively in this image, is to see how far I could push it and which instances it would actually work better for this painting or for future pieces. So right now I'm actually using a brush that has a very unique attribute to it. It tends to essentially burn the color in slowly. So it has a very unique effect to it. It has essentially a darker outer rim and then a lighter inside rim to the paintbrush, and that gives it that effect when you're painting with it. It's actually a really interesting effect. It gives you a really nice solid line too. So it's really good if you don't want to use the chalk brush or the hard brush, because it gives you that really solid line that you can work with. So I'm probably going to try using this brush actually for backgrounds probably in the future. Just working out. Now I've started actually using the Lasso tool. So you can see that I'm actually selecting out portions, and then I'm using the cloud brush that I have to essentially pull back certain elements to give it the appearance that it's receding. Now, it also allows me to essentially bring forward certain areas because I'm using the same technique to add details to the muscle structure as well to give that really rigid line that I'm looking for. So it's a really interesting technique. I'll probably definitely use it. You do have to be careful on how you use it and what type of painting style you're trying to achieve. So if you're not sure what painting style you're trying to get, you may not want to use this technique. Generally, it's if you already know what you're going to draw that this technique works a bit better. I find this technique actually works the best for backgrounds and layouts because it makes it a lot easier to recede elements into the background and to add fog effects to background elements. So I'm just going in again, and I'm just adding once again some more information, just darkening up certain portions and tidying up some of that anatomy that's still not quite correct, just to make sure it's appropriate and properly structured. Just refining that right now. So this image is actually almost completed. This entire image actually only took about 3 hours to do, and it was actually very quick for something that was so detailed. So I'm just adding the details to the hands. And now I'm adding the glow effects to help give the power or insinuate how this golem is actually coming to life. And I'm also adding that same effect to the joint areas, darkening out some of the background elements. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you guys soon. So thank you and take care.